Hello, everybody. This is Anna Sinclair, founder and CEO of Total Mom Inc. Today, I am joined by three fantastic women who are on our Executive Powerhouse Women panel. What a powerful panel of executive women. I mean, first of all, you're all powerhouse executive women from huge companies. You're all supporting small business and you're all empowering startups and founders, and you're all giving back. So I am so thrilled for this interview today with all of you. And I really want to kick things off for having our audience to really just hear a little bit about who you are, a little bit about, what company you're from and your professional background, and then we'll dig into some one-on-ones. Annie, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. So Annie Marcelet, I'm Chief Marketing Officer at BDC, also in charge of corporate communications, public relations, and so on. I grew my career doing public relations, corporate communications for different companies. And to this day, what's motivated me the most is really to help small and medium-sized businesses. And that's been the thread throughout the companies I've worked on. And so thank you very much for hosting us today.
Wonderful. Mariah, do you want to go next?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I wanted to start with that, and I think you hit the thread, very clearly amongst all of us. I'm very privileged to be here. So, just a bit of my background. I've been with Bank of Montreal for 22 years. Best bank in the world. I've been there through my entire career. I started as a teller, worked my way up. I've worked in retail branches. I've worked in commercial banking, business banking. I work with wealth. Recently moved into a strategy role about 3 or 4 years ago, right before the pandemic hit. I wear 2 hats at Bank of Montreal. Most importantly for this audience, I'm the head of BMO for Women across the enterprise. And I work with our colleagues and our frontline sales professionals and our strategic partners across North America. And we've designed a brilliant program focusing on a lot of initiatives targeted at women business owners in particular, and also women investors. And I find that a lot of the work we do, it empowers women across so many different areas, including even our workforce. So it's not just really on just entrepreneurs, but so much of the work we do touches women in so many different ways. And I'm very proud to be part of that organization. And I think my experience working as a commercial leader in the past has really helped me understand working directly with women, access to capital, and really building a fantastic strategy. So very pleased to be here and in the presence of these other women as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Anne, would you like to go next?
Yes, sure. So I'm Anne de Aragon, and I'm the VP and Country Manager of GoDaddy in Canada. GoDaddy is a brand that empowers everyday entrepreneurs to get online, from everything from domains, websites, hosting, and security to marketing tools. And so I've always felt really passionate around small business, and having spent all my years in technology, I worked at Microsoft for a number of years and sort of spent a lot of time at Microsoft in the small and mid-market area of that business. And so just really developed an affinity for a small business when I was there. And so the opportunity came to move to GoDaddy, which is purely focused on small business. And I jumped at that because, it's again where my heart is. And I think our brand is really helping entrepreneurs get online in an accessible way. We, have a lot of great history of having really strong support to help entrepreneurs on their journey. And I'm really excited too, because we're starting to see more and more women starting small businesses. And, just even from my own data, I can see that, the number of women who are visiting GoDaddy.ca has gone up by over 20% versus last year. So it's really encouraging to see that we're getting more women looking at, solutions to power their small business.
Yeah, and you're quite literally responsible for most of all the GoDaddy operations in Canada. You're like leading the charge in the business strategy and growth. No big deal. You've worked really closely with a lot of Canadian small businesses, and you're continuously trying to understand their needs better and really help them benefit from having this online presence. And I know we've spoken about that a lot before, but you've been this driving force behind GoDaddy's partnerships. I know that you did a big thing with the Toronto Raptors, and that resulted in, some of the most successful branding campaigns in the company's history. So first of all, thank you so much for being a proud partner with the Total Mom Pitch, but what is your focus with GoDaddy right now, and what are you guys working on?
Yeah, so it continues to sort of be the same of helping small businesses get online. And so for a lot of people, that starts with a domain name, right? And GoDaddy's historically been known for a place you go to get your domain name.
Right.
But then on top of that domain, that's really where you can build out your online presence. And so with tools like our easy to use website builder, and that allows people to build their own site. But the tool itself, over the years I've been at GoDaddy, has become more and more richer and powerful. Like now we've incorporated what used to be a product called Over, which is now rebranded as GoDaddy Design Studio, that allows you to create social posts. So you can actually create and manage all your social posts from within your website tool. You have a sort of a dashboard that tells you how many visitors you're getting. It gives you tips for, what you could do next in terms of, sort of the next step on your journey to making your online site more successful. So whether that's some SEO optimization or even just doing an email campaign, like there's a lot of these sort of pre-built tips within the tool itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then even like getting your site found is really important for people, right? So being able to optimize their site and then just, kind of overall backing that with our care, so you can call GoDaddy's guides 24/7 and, they're there to help. They're there to encourage and support. So you can call and just say, listen, I'm unsure. I'm just getting started. Like, I don't really know what to do. And our guides are really wonderful. A lot of them are small business owners or have come from small business. They have a lot of empathy for people who are calling in and can really guide them on the right path in their journey.
Yeah, I've been on one of those calls before, and I definitely recollect it being like talking to a friend. My husband and I both called GoDaddy like 2 years ago, just wondering about purchasing more domains and then looking into marketing solutions. And I remember they're just very nice and kind, and we'll stay on the call for like an hour. So that was really cool. But yeah, thank you for sharing more insight on that and how GoDaddy is working on providing more entrepreneurs with these solutions. So Mariah, I'm going to move on to you next. So you've had over 22 years of banking experience with BMO. I mean, you started out as a bank teller, then you gained an array of experience across the organization. You've done retail, commercial, leadership, wealth and strategy. I mean, you are a longstanding supporter of the BMO for Women and have extensive experience working with everything from students to startups, women entrepreneurs, both personally and through a variety of volunteer activities and board memberships that you sit on and contribute to. What is your focus right now, and how are you helping women business owners?
No, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. I took over the role as head of BMO for Women in the fall, and we've been working on building out our strategy and really focusing on some key things and some of the things I really wanted to highlight. So most recently in March of this year, in conjunction with International Women's Day, we upped our commitment to support women-owned businesses by making a capital announcement of $5 billion in capital and to lend out in the next 5 years. And this is on the heels of a commitment we made in past, which was $3 billion. So I've done a lot of research to see, what we can do and really try to amp that up. So very proud of that, and we're keeping track of how much of that money we're lending out. So that's very exciting. Two other things I really wanted, actually a couple other things I wanted to highlight. We also have a grant program that we've been running for 2 years. We shifted our BMO Celebrating Women strategy to the grant program to support women during the pandemic. Found that was a key focus. We've actually recognized 36 women, and we've given out $300,000 in grant money on both sides of the border. And those were recognizing women for their efforts in sustainability, environmental, social, and so on. And the other great thing about that is we actually received over 1,000 applications that we're able to sort through to really get down to that. And reading those stories and seeing some of the incredible work that these women are doing, especially through difficult times like the pandemic that we've all experienced. It's really incredible to see a lot of the pivots and changes and the collaboration that women do to really bring things to light. And also their focuses. Other things that I wanted to highlight too, we also have a $750 billion Women in Business Bond that is really focused on supporting women as they come out of the pandemic. And I think that's a really key thing as well. So there's just so many things that we do. The last thing I wanted to share, like we do have a dedicated website, bmoforwomen.com, and on there we host a number of educational components and series, research articles, We have a branded podcast called Bold Her. We also have a French site as well, that really offers a lot of insight into educational resources and different things, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And the last thing I wanted to see that we're working on right now is building out what I'll call a champion or advocate strategy. I haven't really landed on a name yet.
Right.
But what it is, when you think about what women want, what anybody wants for that matter, it's a consistent experience when I go to a bank. And it's very difficult to provide a consistent experience when you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. So what we're looking at doing is building out a network of champions across Canada. So women and men that we already know have women business owner clients, are already part of boards, are already speaking at different events, are already really focused on this.
Fantastic.
And tapping into those individuals that are already passionate and advocates for women. And supporting them so that they can do even better. So they can be kind of the local champion in their marketplace, spread the word, share information on social media, really arm them with those educational resources, speaking points, and other things so that we can actually support clients and really drive towards a consistent experience.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you for all of that. I mean, wow, that's a lot of really good work that you're doing. And honestly, like you just blew my mind with all of that information. I mean, there's just so much there that people can get behind, support, take advantage of. So fantastic work. And you're definitely doing it differently and stepping it up a notch. So, or 5 notches, I would say, but congrats on all that. That's amazing. So Annie, okay, so you and we met when I think you contacted me for that national campaign with the BDC and Douglas Foundation, right? And we got to talk and I got to share my mental health story on a national platform with the BDC and Douglas Foundation. So thank you so much for asking me to be a part of that. It was really nice to be able to use that platform to share my voice and have a lot of other women, whether it's executive women or even just entrepreneur women, just humanize this whole experience that we're all going through. Okay, so you are the CMO at BDC.
Yes.
You are a powerhouse rock star. I mean, you've got 20 years of experience in communications and marketing and client experience. And I've already literally seen you transform the BDC's marketing and online presence and community. I mean, the time that you came in, you can already see all of the changes, like forward facing, like on the side, like where I'm looking from. It's just such an amazing direction. I mean, you've spearheaded that development and execution. I mean, you've worked on the multi-channel marketing and client experience and strategies all across the country. You've also led a complete overhaul of the bank's image. I know we talked about that once, and I was just like, once again, no big deal, just such big deals. I love this panel so much. You were all just doing amazing things. And I love that you also bring your passion and your heart to the table. You oversee the social impact projects, similar to the one that I was just a part of with you. And
Yes.
prior to the BDC, you also held management and executive positions at TELUS, Yellow Pages, and a bunch of other ones. I mean, tell me about all of that. I mean, wow. Tell me about that process, the overhaul. What have you guys been up to? What's next for BDC?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for that introduction and these kind words. And thank you for taking part in those interviews last year. Sharing your story and about some of the mental health struggles is definitely something that we want, that is difficult to do, but at the same time, we want to raise awareness about all these mental health issues that entrepreneurs are facing. And going back to the pandemic, we know that the effect on mental health has been way higher for women, people from diversity, startups, young entrepreneurs. And so this is something that's really dear to me. And this is what we call notably as part of our social impact program. And we want to continue doing more and more. So more personally, what's up with me at BDC? Well, as you said, I'm Chief Marketing Officer and in charge also of communication. So what we need to do is constantly adapt to new market realities, and the markets are constantly changing. Right now, it's the labor shortage, supply chain issues, and all the economic volatility. So we need to make sure that we cater to the needs and wants of our audiences. For us, it's entrepreneurs. And they come from different backgrounds. So we need to adapt our content, our offering to make sure that it's relevant for them to want to do business with us. And it's also their advancements that we care about. So my job is nothing but dull. And I like it this way. In terms of women entrepreneurs, we are currently helping 16,000 women entrepreneurs across the country. And our goal between now and 2024 is to get to 19,000 women entrepreneurs that we have. We know that they have different needs. They want to be accompanied differently. And this is why we're really trying to do that via partners. We don't do that alone all the time. So we do that with partners among others, and we do have certain offerings for women entrepreneurs. But what I'm most excited about is last year, we welcomed our first female or women CEO, my new boss, and she's brought to BDC a renewed purpose with big, bold ambitions. So we contribute to a more prosperous, inclusive, and sustainable economy via entrepreneurs. So these are the matters that are extremely important to me personally, and I'm really looking forward to contributing to that renewed purpose in a meaningful way. So stay tuned for more to come on that in the next few months, but it's exciting what's happening at BDC right now.
Very exciting. And thank you for sharing all of that. So, I mean, let's dig into the panel. I mean, obviously that I have a lot of questions to ask, but what, in your opinion, has changed about the experience of being an executive woman today compared to, say, 5 years ago? What are you all experiencing, and what are some of those changes that you're seeing today? Anyone can go.
Yeah, I can start off. So as a woman, I guess I've always wanted, and I always brought different perspective at the table, and I like to chart a new path. I think it's something that we have in ourselves. And as many of you, I'm sure that you've sat in boardrooms where groupthink have prevailed most of the time. And so I have and will continue bringing different points of views at the table, and we need our voices to be heard. And I'm no longer shying away from having it heard. So I know for myself that that's been really important, and I do that to inspire other women within my organization today, and I have done that in the past. It's sometimes just like standing in the sideline. We just have to move forward. So I'm taking upon myself to do that, to inspire others to do so as well.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody else?
So what I think I'm seeing is there are definitely more women in senior leadership roles. There are more women on boards. I mean, I can speak to BMO in particular as well. I think we're also seeing, and to Annie's point, women are speaking up more. They're not as, they're just more confident. I think confidence is probably the biggest word. And I think we're also seeing a lot of allyship across the organization. From both men and women. And I think a lot of that really has to do with, the education and awareness that's out there. When I think back to 5 years ago, there were a lot of people doing things kind of off the side of their desk, and nobody really knew each other, and everyone was kind of doing things in pockets. And what we've really done a good job of is, as an example, in 2016, my role was actually created as head of BMO for Women. And prior to that, it was a lot of things being done on the side of the desk. So I think that's a very powerful thing that's happened. And it's allowed us to create additional teams on both sides of the border and have champions in different parts of our business. And it's actually formalized, right? It's no longer just a bunch of people doing it over here. It's actually, a very formal program and process now. And I would say that, the organization as a whole has actually made it a strategic priority, and there's a lot more line of sight on it. So it just, and it's much more powerful when you've got that power behind you and you've got that much awareness. So those are definitely the things that I'm seeing, and it's starting to build a bit of a snowball effect, because more of our junior employees, our clients, are starting to see these changes, and it's helping build confidence with them as well, whether it's to ask for a promotion or to take charge in their own career, or whether it's to I'm actually going to go into the bank and apply for a loan, as opposed to trying to do it on my own, which is something that we've seen in some of our research.
Fantastic. Anne?
Yeah, I'll just add, I mean, I think Anna, you already know this, but I work with an all-women team at GoDaddy. My team is all women. My manager is a woman. She's one of the two women who are presidents of GoDaddy International. And so, and I think GoDaddy in itself has very strong, like I know, for example, we got 100% score on the human rights equity campaign, and pay equity between female and male executives and workers is on par, between people of ethnic diversity is on par. So, from that point of view, GoDaddy is a very progressive company, and sort of very concerned about making sure that women and any sort of person is elevated within the company. So that's really, really good. And I think for me personally, I mean, one of the ways I sort of became more successful in my career as it went on was by having people almost like who are ambitious for me. I had people that would make me stretch out of my comfort zone, but supportedly stretch out of my comfort zone. And it is through those moments where you are stretching that you realize that you are capable of taking on more, of doing more, of learning more, of contributing more. And I think, and I've had some men and some women who've kind of supported me on my journey. And that's now what I try and give back and bring to, my team or other women in the organization, is to help them stretch out of their comfort zone, but in a supported way, to develop them as well. So that's been my journey.
Yeah, and it really does seem like a lot of things are changing. And I just remember looking back 5 years ago, I just don't remember there being so many opportunities for women like there are now. I mean, I don't remember there being that many grants and these programs, and it's just fantastic. And it's nice to kind of look to the left and the right and have these options. So great work with everything that the three of you are doing with your companies. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the pandemic and how that's brought a lot of discussion and change over the last few years. I know there's been a lot more promise of flexibility, support and acknowledgement to parents, to working moms. We've also seen more empathy and awareness around mental health, taking personal days off. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones being introduced right now. But personally, for the few of you that are moms on the panel, Total Mom Inc. is super excited about always bringing up these different conversations about working moms. What did you find your experience juggling sort of your career and motherhood was like? And how important would the three of you say the company owners or CEOs or leadership team should take into consideration what it's like running, their career and doing all of the important stuff that they're doing in that role and still being a parent that's raising a child? What would you all three say? I guess we'll start with you, Annie.
Okay. Well, for me, I find myself to be extremely fortunate that during the pandemic, my partner's contractual agreement with the company ended. And so he took over the family caring while I was working around the clock, literally, to support entrepreneurs in distress during the first few months of the crisis. So I could count on him for homeschooling and cooking, which enabled me to really focus on my team, the organization, and entrepreneurs. So it's been somewhat of a blessing, and I know it's not been the case for others, because I've had the pleasure of seeing my kids grow by being home. And this is not something that I was doing that much before. So spending more time with them, and this time you never get it back. And so for me, the pandemic has been good. I've been working, like I said, quite a lot, but I had the support system and the environment to be able to do so. And I think that it's been proven through the pandemic that flexibility is not the opposite of productivity. Actually, we saw how productive people were in their homes, knowing that their companies had their back. And so I think they've been giving the best of themselves. So as employers and companies, and I think BDC is really great from that perspective, offering First of all, good parental leave conditions is paramount. Second of all, flexibilities. Like today, we're giving the opportunities to each of our employees to decide when, how often they want to come to the office, and if they prefer working from home, that's fine too. We're giving flex hours, so if you want to take half a day, that's okay. And also from a mental health conditions, and once again, we've talked a lot about that, Anna.
Yeah.
Really offering great services so they can speak out to professionals and so on and so forth. The other thing is, I think that I'm in Quebec, and I think that we are lucky in that we have affordable daycare. And so I wish that other provincial government and governments as a whole would also offer affordable daycare, because it's made it different for me. And Absolutely. I wish that for all mothers around the country.
Yeah, same here. I wish that for everybody. I mean, it's such a challenge for women and men to really explore these careers when, like, what they're worrying about is how are they going to have that support for the kids. And I mean, it's such a huge burden on so many Canadians. And I really hope that things keep moving along in the right direction, but that sounds fantastic. Mariah, what do you think about leaders and leadership team and companies and how they can support working parents as they're traveling through essentially helping grow the business for the people that own the business?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Annie really hit the mark when she said really flexibility is key. I've got a number of folks in my team who have kids. Most of them actually do, and many of them are young. My boss actually has 2 very young kids as well, so I've seen it, in all different regards, and of course colleagues too. And I think what the bank has done, not unlike other organizations, we're really focused on flexibility, and we've done a lot of work, trying to assess, the productivity issues and different things, and what do people want, and how are they most productive, and what's important for us to really pay attention to. When I think about some of the moms on my team, that's most important to think about is really just being empathetic. Like I'm not a mom person. I'm a dog mom. I have friends with kids, so I have that lens. But one of the things that I think about is I check in with them very often. I want to know what's happening. I want to understand, what their day looks like. And if they need to take the afternoon off and they want to pick up in the evening after the kids go to bed or something to that effect, it's really having those conversations and being aware. Because if you can offer that level of flexibility and understanding with your teammates, they're going to do a better job. And, to Annie's point, we're actually finding most of our employees are far more productive than they even were when they were in the office. Think about it a lot. I'm in the GTA, and I mean, the commute could be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a day. And I'm even finding it myself. I feel like sometimes when I go to the office, I'm actually less productive. So I really have to change what I do when I go into the office so that I get good value. So if I'm going to go into the office, we're going to have really good quality FaceTime with our team members, or I'm going to visit with clients or partners. And I think that's something that really resonates with everyone across the team. And I think to your point, it also impacts our customers, right? So you do a good job with our employees and it resonates with our clients. But when I think about our clients too, I've also seen an interesting shift. I work a lot with our commercial sales force and our wealth sales force. And in past, it was actually difficult to schedule an appointment with some of our business owner clients. We might have to wait 2 weeks to go out and see them. And then there was travel and coordinating and trying to get everybody to the same location. Now you just have an online meeting. And we're actually really starting to pay attention as we start, I hazard to say, come out of the pandemic, but knock on wood, hopefully we are seeing some good signs. But I'm wondering about the future. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a hybrid. And when I think about business owners, they don't have a lot of time. That's their most precious commodity. So still making sure that we have top of mind that, having those virtual meetings may still be a very viable option, but also balancing that with some folks do actually want to have and value having those in-person meetings, but we are connecting a lot more frequently with our clients because it's easier to do it. So that's another thing to be very aware of.
Well, you made a really great point about the commute, because I remember when I moved to Collingwood with my husband, he had a job on like Bay Street. And so he had to drive 2 hours there and then 2 hours back. So that's 4 hours. And so by the time he would come home, the kids were already bathed and ate and are in bed. And then in the morning, he would have to leave super early so we can have breakfast together. So he moved on from that organization, but it makes me wonder how many other people move on from organizations because of circumstances like that. Because at the end of the day, if we're working, say 70, 80% of the time, because we all work a lot. I mean, let's be honest, our hours are a lot. And in that experience is like also trying to integrate relationships with our family and our personal development and accessing nature and other normal things that we need to incorporate outside of just working so hard and doing these amazing big things. And yeah, if you don't have to travel hours and hours on end and you can just wake up and have your coffee and get started right here, right now. Think of all the emails you can catch on. There's no way that anyone's going to be driving and texting. So that's definitely a really good variable there when deciding kind of what to do and where to stay. And did you want to contribute to what you thought?
Sure. I mean, for me, when I left my former job, a job I loved, by the way, but it was an all-encompassing job. Like it would have been 18 hours a day. And, at the time my son was younger, my parents were getting older and my mom wasn't doing too well. And I just made the decision for myself to leave, to leave that role. And when I considered taking this role that I have now with GoDaddy, I remember I was recruited in by my someone that I had worked with in my past. And I said, you know what, I'm not sure. I said, I'm having this time at home now. I'm having this time with my son while he's still young. And I'm not sure I want to go back to this crazy work environment. And she was really great. And she said, you know what, listen, if you want to pick up your kid from school, just put it in your calendar every day. And so I did. And I did that, and I made it work for me. Like I just made it. And because I was home based, I mean, I was hired to, we had an office, but anyway, we didn't use it. And so I made it work for me. And so now I, again, can give that flexibility back to my team, right? And again, some of them have younger kids. And for me, it's like, take care of your family first, take care of yourself first, right? Then take care of your family. And, then you will be able to give your heart to your job. And using that philosophy, I don't see any downside. Like my team and all of whom are women, as I mentioned, work incredibly hard and, just get it done. And if sometimes they need to do something with their kids in the day, but they're going to, feel like they want to get on email or something after their kids are in bed, like that's totally fine. I think you just have to do what works for you, because I want people coming to work that are like joyful and energized and just wanting to do their job. And, that's the environment that I try and create, is to say like, and again, I've got like senior managers and directors and senior directors on my team. So they are, not to say that, they're a little more responsible, but they are responsible, right? Like they are delivering what they need to deliver and getting it done. And I'm not so fussed on, the hours that they're doing it in, or if they have to miss a meeting. Like we've got lots of people that can cover, and we're, great at recording Zoom meetings and catching up and that sort of thing. So, for me, that's, definitely where I am now, is take care of yourself, take care of your family, and then work will also get done, but you're not going to be able to be your best if you're depleted, or if you feel like you've really let the home down, or that sort of thing. So for me, it's really driving that with my team, is just to make sure, like if they call and say, I'm really sorry, I can't, come to this, my kid's sick. I'm like, oh my God, like, don't even worry about it. Just take care of your family and we'll get you caught up after. And, that works really well. I think we've got such an environment of trust within the team that I work in, that, nobody's worried. And even, I think it would even extend, and GoDaddy was interesting, right? Because we have over 7,000 call center agents, care agents, and they were all sent home in the pandemic. And I think that was a bit of concern for people. It's like, are the care agents going to be able to do their job effectively from home? And I would say after like a couple months of just getting used to the new situation, getting everyone's technology kind of figured out, like it went off without a hitch after they got used to it. And so, at GoDaddy now, we're back in our offices around the world on a vaccinated volunteer basis, with people having the option to work, fully from home or partly from home or fully in the office, like sort of just what works for you and your family. And so I think as a global company, GoDaddy's done it really, really well, just in terms of taking the entire workforce home and then making everyone sort of feel comfortable and involved as we sort of start to get back to normal.
It's so encouraging to hear all of these like really great companies and brands incorporating all of this. And I think everybody listening is probably just like falling madly in love with the companies right now, just like, thank God you think like this and that you're doing the work, because it's tremendously important. I think for many years, there's just been this way of things that have just been done a certain way. And it's incredible to see the changes that are being made internally with the corporate cultures, with the company cultures, all very exciting stuff. So I want to move into what I call In Another Life segment. And obviously every woman on this panel has made some incredible moves with the companies that you all work at, and you're driving impact and all of that fun stuff. But if you were an entrepreneur and you were not an executive woman, so just forget that you're a powerhouse woman for a minute. And if you were an entrepreneur right now and you were creating a go-to solution, or you wanted to solve a problem, or you wanted to take something on, what product or service or idea would you see yourself doing? I will start with Mariah.
No, I've actually given this a little bit of thought, which is interesting. I have this little passion project that maybe someday in my retirement I'll work on. But one of the things I noticed about that it's kind of common with business owners, executives, that kind of thing, is we all work so hard, right? We've got so many things going on. And sometimes we lose sight of the things we're passionate about or the things that we find fun and interesting. So I started doing a lot of research on, I'll call it hobbies, but it's more passions, right? And I went through an interesting experience actually with myself when, I was at a point in my career where I got a big promotion. I was doing my executive MBA and I just didn't have a life for 16 months. And I got out of it and I went, I don't even know what I like to do for fun anymore. And it's weird because I founded the idea on the process that I really went through when I was trying to figure out, here I am. I have no idea what to do for fun. Now I have a little bit of time. So, really, it's really built around trying to help people reconnect with what they're passionate about. So exploring things like, what did you enjoy doing as a kid? Go try that again, right? What are some things that you get excited about when you watch other people do it? It could be, it could be kayaking, it could be getting into cycling, it could be getting back into some sort of, exercise regime. It could be could be anything. So
Like it.
It's something I just started to do, but I thought so many people end their careers, they might, sell their business. And then there's that shock to their system because all of a sudden I'm not working 18 hours a day and I don't know
Like, now what?
Yeah. And, everybody does the first 3 to 6 months, travel the world, do these fun things. And then you come back to reality and you go, I don't know what to do because my business or my job took up so much of my life.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
People connect with their hobbies or passions, if you will. And it's interesting that we've got Anne on the call because I think I used GoDaddy just to register my name in advance. Should I ever take this anywhere?
Awesome. Annie, did you want to go next?
Sure. And it's one of the most difficult questions to answer. And so I've had so many ideas over the years, but no courage to jump or even explore further like Mariah into the entrepreneurial arena. So if pushed, certainly it would be something in the service area. I love what I do, so helping others and or wellness area. One of the things that is really important for me is aging and aging healthy. And so therefore, anything that we can do in our own lives currently that will make sure that we continue maintaining healthy habits. And I think that oftentimes, people are going to care homes and there's no more activities. So there's certainly something like that that I would like to explore, but I need to think about that further. So it actually triggered some deep reflection. So I'll think about it.
And what about yourself?
Oh, I don't know. Like I come up with ideas all the time, but I think, what I would probably be if I was on my own would be a freelance writer, editor. Like I love editing stuff. And that I feel like I have a talent for that. But what a more passion project I think would be, like, I love baking I could see being not necessarily having retail, but I'd love to, have like distribution, like through, stores and that sort of thing, and just be sort of more on that side of it. There's some recipes I have passed down from like grandmother and stuff that I really, really love.
Love
And
that.
I think that would be like these unique little things that she used to make, which you don't see commonly everywhere, would be really, really kind of fun to do. And then, just, I don't know, there's always ideas popping into my head, and then sometimes you'll see something already exist. Like I've thought,
Yeah.
something for my pets, my dog, my cat, like I'll always look at them and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be great if, there were this thing or whatever. And then I'll go search it. And sometimes there already is that thing, but the ideas keep sparking, and one of these times you'll be like, that's an idea and it doesn't exist. And, you put two and two together. So there's those things too. I think it's fun to just dream and to kind of think about the possibilities, and, just, yeah, one day something might just fire. And, it's interesting too, because we have a segment at GoDaddy called the Silver Entrepreneur, I think. And it's all of these like people who are sort of post 55, post 60, and they want to start their next career. And actually, it's funny, my father-in-law, who's in his 90s, he said to me, he was a doctor, and he said, he goes, Ann, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have done something else. I would have done something else after I retired. And, so I sort of laugh at him, but I do think that is a really, a big possibility for people these days, is like retire from one career and, hey, why not start something? It's we're all living a little bit longer, and, if we follow Annie's plan of having long-term, healthy living, yeah, why not start something when you're a little bit older? So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I live in Collingwood, Blue Mountain. And when I first moved down here, or up here, I should say, 2 years ago, it used to be like a place where people would like move to retire. And then now you're seeing more younger people kind of move in. And so it's a nice combination. And every time I go to a coffee shop or a store, like I meet the most incredible people that have retired, but are like, they've started a whole new life and started a whole new passion project. And it's just really inspiring to see. Where I live, it's kind of like a wellness and entrepreneur community. So I'm constantly inspired by all the conversations I have with people here. And it was actually nice to kind of get to know you three a little bit deeper and kind of hear about some of your potential hobbies and passions. It's been really, really nice. I want to kind of start wrapping things up by just getting some feedback from the three of you about gaining confidence around leadership, working with teams. How do you inspire people around you to really do a great job on the projects that you're working on? Getting people on board on really massive programs. What's really worked for you in sort of enrolling and registering individuals and colleagues to do great work? Anyone can start.
Sure thing. So I'd say that generally I'm a very passionate, dynamic, and optimistic person. And I believe people feel it. And so when I believe in a project, I go all in. Mm-hmm. And I'm so invested that it's inspired people to follow along. I think I become convinced so much that there's some in not only in it for me, but for them, that they want to follow. And so whenever we do project initiatives, I tend to set the bar quite high. I'm demanding, but also fair. And I challenge the team very respectfully, push them outside of their comfort zones. And after one or two I've really seen positive outcomes on them, then others have wanting to take more chances, take more risks, and also embark on these initiatives. So both on their personal journeys and on the project itself, and this is how I'm generally going at things. And I think what's fundamental is knowing that we have each other's back. This is really the thing. If we want people to follow along, it's like with a safety net. Otherwise, it's they're going to remember and they will not want to go the next time.
Yeah. And I love that you said stepping out of comfort zones, because when you are raising the bar high, it's going to be uncomfortable. And obviously things feel a little bit scary and there's targets to hit and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you kind of said it. If the person behind that program is passionate and they really are like living and breathing it, everyone around them is going to feel it, and they're going to feel like they're a part of something bigger, which I feel like you definitely possess. So, Anne, do you want to go next?
Sure. I mean, I talked earlier about cultivating trust within my team, and I think that's really important because my other sort of side to that is I feel really empowered to give my team feedback. And they'll often get, after a meeting or after something, I'll say, hey, can I give you some fast feedback and blah, blah, blah. And I think they really accept that because we have established an environment of trust, and they know that I have their best interests at heart, and I'm just helping give this feedback so that they can progress and grow in their career. So I don't wait and give them feedback at the end of the year and sort of hide behind stuff. I'll say, here's your feedback right now. I think on the flip side too, they see that I'm then going to give them opportunities, right? So if I'm putting them forward to present at a company-wide meeting or, something like that, where there's a lot of, trust in me doing that, and that they have the ability and the skills to deliver. They know that I will give them opportunities, and they know that I will be, immediate with feedback to help them as they sort of progress. And then the other thing I feel like, my team, I would say, knows that I'm very transparent, right? So I want them to understand everything about what we're doing as a team and why we're doing it and why we're focusing on something and why that might change and how we interact with the other parts of the business. I don't ever want anyone to feel insular or just like focused on their core set of deliverables. I really want everyone to be able to articulate exactly what it is that they're doing, why they're doing it, how it ladders up to the overall company goals, and knowing that they have the skills and the tools to be able to do it. And then I think if you give them all of that stuff, and the honesty and the transparency, it does really build a culture of trust and a culture where people do want to step out of their comfort zone and start to begin to take on bigger initiatives and grow.
Awesome. Mariah, what about yourself as we wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just touch on a few things that both Annie and Anne also commented on as well. So passion, I think that's a key. I mean, I'm just super fortunate. I wear two hats at the bank, and both are my dream jobs, and I can't believe I actually do both, which is awesome. So that's a big help, because anytime I'm speaking to anybody in the organization, I get a lot of comments of, man, she's passionate, but because I love what I do. So that's helpful, and it just happens that way, and it's natural, which is great. I would say efficacy is really important as well, is, very collaborative. So with the teams that I work with and with the sales forces that I work with, we make sure that we gather lots of input for making a decision. I work in a strategy role, and often, people have a mindset that headquarters is just coming up with ideas and making people do it. And that's not what we do. So I go out of my way to gather as much feedback as possible before we make decisions. And I stay open-minded, and that includes my team as well. And I think the last thing I would say too is I'm very fortunate to work for an organization that has an incredible culture that's really founded in, development, support, career conversations. I've interviewed a lot of people from a lot of different institutions in my long career, and one of the things that really stands out with BMO is that, every single employee at our organization has a career conversation every single year. We talk about their development, we talk about what we want, and we make things happen, and we're not afraid to reach out to another line of business, connect them with another leader for a conversation. And I think that really resonates. And I've always been a proponent for that. And in doing that, I've had a lot of career conversations with people from all over the place. And I try my best anytime somebody reaches out to at least have a conversation to support them, whether it's general or specific to what I'm doing today. So.
It's incredible. Well, thank you all for this wonderful panel. I actually really very much enjoyed it. It's been nice to kind of hear what everybody's working on and just get a little bit of insight on what that's like and what's going on with all of the companies. Thank you. And I hope everybody watching enjoyed this and really got some tremendous value. Fantastic panel, fantastic women, and thank you all, and have a powerful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.